No, I'm just kidding. Hello and welcome, everybody. My name online is TheMrArcher. Welcome in. Thank you for watching some of this. Yep, been a while, as in like a week or so. But honestly, what news is that you can't get off of apps and newspapers and online transfer places? Like it's so easy to get information nowadays that, I mean, it's any content's good content, right? But I mean, how many times I could get up there and put 5 or 6 videos up a day saying, oh, Everton have been linked with so and so player, this and that, and then like all the random news that comes out that is somewhat related. But the simple fact of the matter is, this time of the year, if there's no actual, senior World Cup, a senior European Championships, there's not much interest going on for any club, really. I mean, you can watch your players play in the Copa America or the Gold Cup or the AFCON, but seriously, honestly, we know that the quality of football is not that great. I mean, I've started off by watching the Copa America. I was watching Brazil, mostly because I wanted to see Richarlison play. I wanted to watch David Neres play. And I watched a little bit of Colombia because I wanted to watch Yerry Mina play. And there's other players, Senegal with Ghana. But at the end of the day, some of those teams are just horrible to watch. It's slow paced. I mean, you almost think that you're watching the Italian league minus skill at the end of the day. It's just, it's hard to get up for that type of thing for me personally. And so, you should try and get excited about transfer rumors or transfers coming in, but really, you can't really do anything with that until July 1st, when players' contracts run out and they can sign with other teams, and then the domino effect happens where we sign him so we can sell him, and they sold someone so they need to buy someone, so we start flogging players. We, as in the overall worldwide soccer, yeah. But so it's really boring. So yeah. But anyways, thank you for showing up again. First off, I would like to give a big shout out, and this is, to Jeff Thompson. Jeff Thompson actually left 2 comments on one of my videos. Yeah. It shouldn't be a big thing for me. It shouldn't be a surprise, but I just like the fact that somebody actually took the fucking time to ask a question, to respond to the video. I mean, I appreciate the thumbs up and I appreciate the subscription, but I would really enjoy some type of feedback about what we're talking about. And Jeff made some good comments on Gomez, who we have signed. We'll get into that in a little bit. About Marcel Brands, about David Neres, and he also made a good point about, because I believe I mentioned I thought that Virginia was going to go out on loan next season, possibly, but he made a good point that we don't really want to loan out our third goalkeeper. I just think that Everton have ran into a situation many times that if somebody's overperforming or doing really well in the under 23s, but you've got Jordan Pickford ahead of you, and you sign Jonas Lörsel, and Stecklenburg's still at the club. So obviously our pecking order is Pickford. Pickford gets injured, then what do we do? Do we keep? Do we have Lörsel as our backup goalkeeper? Because if we're going to have Virginia as our backup goalkeeper on the bench, then what was the point of signing Lörsel and having 3 people in the pecking order behind Jordan Pickford? I would assume that the pecking order would be Pickford, Lörsel, Stecklenburg, and then we can send Virginia hopefully out on loan to another Premier League club or somewhere where he might actually play a lot of games, championship, decent, or maybe I would like a promoted team. just like what we should really do with Kieran Dowell and some other players, because players need first-team football. And if you don't get first-team football, or you're playing all the time in the under-23s, I just don't see how you get any better or get any more prepared to play in the Premier League, especially in the goalkeeping position. And there's other areas, so maybe center forward, strikers, and goalkeepers are, I believe, players that if you're trying to get them into your squad, if you want them to be ready to come in and do a job, they have to play continuously and for the majority of the season, barring injury, barring suspension, all that. They really need to play game after game after game after game, and not just coming in for a couple, being out for a month, coming in for a couple. Because you can't do that with the goalkeeper rotation, obviously, especially with Pickford in goal. So like I said before, I would send him out on loan, but that's a tangent I just went off on. I just wanted to thank Jeff for his comments, and let it be known that I do appreciate those, and I can feed off those. And anyways, thank you, my friend. Anyways, on to news for the week. Obviously, we had some news related to Bramley-Moore Dock Stadium. Everton are looking at, and we've known this for maybe a while, is putting safe standing in both ends of Bramley-Moore Dock when we get in there. Still no finalized idea of what they want to do for capacity. I've said from the beginning, even though I don't live in the area and I probably won't go to too many games at Bramley-Moore Dock because of my situation and where I live and all of that, I do think that anything below 58,000 straight seats without the safe standing 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 or 1-to-1.5 ratio, I think, just like signings, just like all the other things, there has to be a statement from the club. And so 58,000 is what I would perceive as the bare minimum. 55 is pushing it for the low end, because that's only an increase of like 15,000 from Goodison. I'm more interested in seeing the designs and the state-of-the-art ideas that people want to have. Lounges, concessions. Because football, to me, and anything, it doesn't matter if it's football or over here in America, that it should be a all afternoon or day or something type event, like just showing up 50 minutes before any game, and then going home right when the game's over and just hopping in your car and going back is, that's great if that's what you want to do, but I would prefer to be engaged a couple of hours before kickoff or tip-off or however you want to look at it, and being engaged with activities, meeting other people that you're there that support the team, having events afterwards, not having to leave the ground because the stewards have to go home, and all that stuff. So it's been, they've had the first consultation. Second consultation, I believe, is coming up sometime toward the end of next month. Exciting times, but I think, again, just like our signings, Everton need to make a statement about their ambition and about where they want to see themselves in 5 to 10 years. And, if we're trying to break into the top 6, you have to do that by winning games, you have to do that by signing players, but you also have to kind of be perceived that you're going in the right direction as a top 6 and maybe top 4 team. So, that's just the news on that. Safe standing, we've seen it in the Bundesliga, we've seen it in some championship and lower division teams. Obviously, it's also based on legislation. We don't want to have another Hillsborough incident and all that. So things are looking up there. Before that, in the week, we had the great news of Andre Gomez finally signing. Was it 22 million euros, 22 million quid? I don't know, but obviously it was going to happen all the time. Apparently, it already, personal terms have been agreed. Just haggling with Barcelona over price. I think the price is very, very reasonable. I think that it's a sign of intent for us to be able to get someone like that. Of course, certain players, when he was linked with Tottenham, said, Barcelona, former Barcelona player, title-winning Barcelona player linked with Tottenham, and then when they get linked with us, it's Barcelona reject joining Everton. And so, whoever wrote that, to you hyper, obviously biased assholes that write those types of reports trying to slag us off, as most papers and most everything else do. It's not surprising, it's just really kind of embarrassing that you'd consider that to be professional. And it's in the same paper. I don't know if it's the Daily Express or what, but it's the same paper with the same player, and yet based on which team is involved, you have to put it into a negative or a positive bias. So, assholes. So yeah, Andre signed. He, talked about things that other players that we're going to sign need to, in my opinion, check off this list. And players that are going out should be going out for the reasons that he mentioned. If you come to Everton or you come to any job, and you want to feel loved, or you want to feel appreciated, you want to have your efforts rewarded. You don't want people turning their back on you or snubbing you or being, dickish towards you. If you put in hard work, if you show up every day and put in maximum effort and try and improve yourself and try and contribute to the team, to the outside of the football stuff, you do the charity work, you do the neighborhood and community things, you try and engage yourself, people will realize why you're here, what you're about, and who you are as a human being. So we took something like that, like Andre Gomez. We have stuff that went on at Barcelona. He came in, we made him feel good, we gave him the time, put an arm around him. Marco, Grand, I'm sure whoever does it, had a team in place to to deal with the outside stuff, to do with the mental, to do with the physical, because he obviously came with an injury. Not low expectations, but not super inflated expectations of what should be going on, what he's going to do. Just say, hey, come in. We're going to give you a chance, but here's what you need to do in an A, B, C, and D, and we go from there. And so he said, the fans love me, that my teammates are great. There's a sense of togetherness. The plan and the vision that Marcel and Marco and Farad and all the others are trying to preach at the club is a thing that I want to be a part of, and I'm going to do my very best to contribute to that. And here he is, nice little smiling guy, signed a 5-year deal. Not sure what his wages are, but if it was the 120K that was kind of being reported around, that's Sandro Ramirez money. You might say, who? Yeah, Sandro Ramirez. Flopper. But not unlike many of the Koeman and Allardyce signings, bunch of flops. Some weren't made for the Premier League, some weren't given a chance. But you look, Klaassen, Vlasic did okay, obviously. Sandro Ramirez, Tosin. There's others that we can name. We'll do that in a different video about the deadwood that need to just GTFO out of the club. But Andre's here, and so we can move on to not bigger and better things, but address issues or players that need to fill certain positions in other parts of the lineup. Some of those, see here, the Zuma issue we all know about. Chelsea may be facing a transfer ban. Are they going to repeal it? Are they not? Is Frank Lampard going to leave Derby? Is he not? So obviously a lot of decisions can't be made until there's either a manager or the ban gets upheld or they challenge it. But from what Zuma has said, apparently according to the rumors, is that he's told friends and family or told somebody that he really enjoyed his time at Everton. Oh, what a shocker. Oh, you're playing first team football week in, week out. You have the same manager for a season. You've got a team that's not really super egotistical or players that just bring their ego and their flair and their this and that, and then you end up, Chelsea. Jesus. But he obviously probably wants to come back. Just maybe like the Gomez situation. He was playing for Stoke, obviously, on a season-long loan. He's been other places out on loan. I'm sure he really enjoyed playing week in, week out. I'm sure he really enjoyed playing for a manager that has the style of play that we're trying to incorporate. I think he's decent on the ball. I think he had a really good relationship with Michael Keane and the other defenders. He is a partner for Mina and for Keane, and you can kind of see the way they work. Because sometimes, obviously, you get two defenders that are kind of the same mentality, same of the same attitude, same of the same way of playing, and they kind of clash. But sometimes you need a general, and you need just someone that's a solid player back there. He pitched in with the goals. Just all around. We need to get him back in. However, the question is with Zuma, how long do we wait? He may need to push through a transfer. I'm not saying with a transfer request, but kind of just let it be known that, hey, I want to go back there, and if you don't let me, or just tell me, am I in your first team plans? Because they've got Christensen at the back there, obviously. They've got Aspilicueta that can play at the back there. They've got that Ponce, David Luiz that plays at the back. I know they've got some young players, so who's the manager going to be? If it's Frank, does Frank want to keep Zuma? What is he planning on playing? 3 at the back, 4 at the back? So it might just be better for everybody involved, I would assume, if Chelsea just let Kurt leave. 25, 30 million. Let's get him in for at least the first part of pre-season, hopefully before the last couple of games at the end of July. So let's just get him in, but there's a lot of issues out of the control of Marcel and of the club in general. Next, I want to talk about the guy on the far. It'd be the right of your screen, wouldn't it? Yeah. Keane from Juventus. Good player from what I've seen. I didn't really know too much about him because I just assumed that Juventus is just Cristiano Ronaldo plus 10. But I did see, went back and saw some of his games, some of his appearances. Looks like a good player, decent player, fast, quick, good positioning, pretty quick in his decision making. I think he's a young, exciting player. The only thing that worries me about players, how to say this, that have the background and maybe the personality and temperament is always a worry when you bring him into your club. He's obviously gotten some trouble within the club itself with rules and stuff, and then also outside. I'm not saying a bad apple, and everyone says, oh well, sometimes when you leave you leave your environment, you leave your current surroundings, you go to a team and you get refocused and this and that. But I think in today's age, there's a lot of players, not just in football, but in sports in general, that take Paul Pogba for example. Mr. Dab, and all that, and and that's fine. But he's a walking Adidas commercial. I think he's one of those players that obviously has to have good players around him in order to be a good player, and that's pretty much true for everything. But if you watched how many times he half-asses it during a game, and then he gets out and it's all smiles and all jokes, and it's about right after the game, after the locker room, it's all get on my Insta, it's all get on my this, all get on my that, and he's smiling, happy, just like you didn't just completely just have a defender waltz past you and have them score the game-winning goal. You just throw your arms up, and and there's been other bad apples throughout history of certain sports, but I mean, we can't have that at our club, and no club should ever have to put up with it. So, but that's the type of thing you can't take a risk on. Great. If they're a great player, if they're a great finisher, or if they're good in their position, or whatever they do, the temperament and the attitude always affects the dressing room. It always affects how the game's played. It brings negative attention, unwanted attention at the end of the day. Apparently, he wants to go to Inter Milan. However, they might be signing Lukaku either on a 2-year deal or somewhere in the region of 65, 70 million euros. So, and at Inter Milan, they've already got they've got Icardi there. They're going to have Lukaku there, and they've got another forward there. Is he going to get in the team? You know, because I guess his dad said he wants to go back to Inter, and Inter's his home after he left Torino. He said and his agent is Riola. That's Sakasuit with stupid glasses on. Anyways, but yeah, we all know about Mino and all that, and so we'll see how that goes. I would like him at the club, but I think you're gonna have to sit him down at least. Say, hey, we've heard news, we've seen stories, we've talked to people. No more. You play for us. You wear the badge. You're an Everton player now. No bullshitting. No effing around. No thinking you're bigger than the club. No late night partying, no troubles with the law, none of that. Just get on the park, do your thing, we'll give you money, the fans will love you, end up. And then I guess we can move on to Neres again. I'll say right up front, he has not had a very decent Copa America. I thought he was a good player in spurts for Ajax. Seems to be a highlight reel, almost like one of the players we have right now, but on a very, very small scale, like Ademola Lookman, which we'll get to in another video because Deadwood out will be Archie the Wolf's province. But no, Neres, I think still don't see a whole lot of teams in for Neres, right? I mean, Everton, maybe some other teams, but nothing that's really, really substantial. So I don't know if it's just because other teams have scouted him and don't think that he's able to step up to, the Premier League or La Liga or the Bundesliga, if the prices they're being quoted by Ajax is too much, if he's holding out for more money, or if Ajax are holding out for more money, or if he doesn't want to go. So we don't really know, but hopefully Richarlison getting the mumps didn't really affect their relationship, because obviously they can't be as close as they could be, so Agent Richarlison can't be whispering in his ear if he's been quarantined for the rest of the squad. I could go into how mumps gets rampant, but I won't. I'm sure that I'd have the bad luck of having some scientist or some doctor trying to tell me that you can't be a dick and say that mumps should be completely devoid, like polio and all that in the year 2019, but that's by the by. So nothing's really changed on Neres. Again, that might be something that picks up pace after the Copa America, or maybe Ajax are just seeing if they need the money, because obviously De Ligt has obviously been going to many clubs. First off, he was going to Barcelona, then Manchester United were involved, Paris Saint-Germain have been trying to hijack it, but it looks like he's going to Juventus, which might bring us back to Keane, because if Juventus are going to take in De Ligt, they also want to sign... it doesn't matter. But if they're going to start selling players, they need to start doing it with FFP, obviously, in the back of their minds. And so, but if they bring De Ligt in, that maybe that's when they'll start deciding who they can get rid of and who not. But it looks like De Ligt still has to make his decision. Barca are going to come back in with another bid, or Ajax just being greedy with the money. And on to Malcolm. This would be my choice personally for who we would want to get to be our left-footed right winger. I think he's a lot more experienced at the higher level, more technical, more skillful, and basically everything over Neres. I don't know if Barcelona are willing to let him go, but again, if they're planning on, maybe bringing in Griezmann, trying to bring in Neymar, they're going to have to free up some space at some point. And, I know they might be able to get rid of Coutinho, but the only place he seems to be wanting to go is Paris Saint-Germain. And seriously, who wants to go to PSG? I mean, yes, money, but I'm sorry, there can't be any draw to putting the Ligue 1 title on your wall. I mean, seriously, Sunday league, farmer league, right? I mean, I don't watch. I tried to watch it, but it's it's crap. It's crap. And besides Paris Saint-Germain, winning it all the time, maybe Monaco popping in every now and then to maybe win something, but it's just a god-awful league. I mean, why would anybody besides money and besides living in Paris want to play in such a junior varsity amateur garbage league? Sorry, I shouldn't get into that. But yeah, Malcolm, I'd like to see Malcolm come in. Like Neres, like Keane, like Malcolm. I'm sure somewhere in the range of 25 to 35 million should be able to get the job done. We've already done a lot of business with Barca, so come on, Barca, just come on with it. Put a buyback clause in, with it. Don't mess around. Just let us have him if we're in for him. Neres, that thing might drag out, and then Keane, like I said. Talent-wise, I'm sure he's a great lad. I'm sure he can fit in. I'm sure he'll buy into whatever we're doing. But it's just, you always got to look at the attitude. You've always got to pay attention to those things because they can come back and bite you in the ass at the end of the day. There's Andre again. But yeah, so that's about it. It's just been a rambling, sprawling video again. Again, we're trying to get to the ins and the outs. Because it's not that hard to say who we need to bring in. That's all over the place. Who we need to get out, all over the place. All the deadwood sitting on the salary sheet. All the players that especially one in particular, that just can't be arsed. People, putting him on some high pedestal like he hasn't been given a chance. But I'm sorry, I'll refer to this player in another video, but sorry, if you come on for 15 minutes in a game, and players, and after the game, says, oh, he was a spark. Oh, he was, yeah, you know what, it's really easy to be a spark when other players around you have been playing for 90 minutes. And you come on for 15 minutes and do a little couple of dribbles and have a shot on goal. And I was like, oh, look at what he's doing. He's amazing. He just changed the game. No, he didn't. He's only been on. You should be coming on and busting your ass and putting some effort in and looking like one of the sharpest players on the pitch. When you just come on, everybody else has been playing for 70, 75 minutes of a high-intensity game. Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about Ademola Lookman, and we're going to get into, because some of the things I see on Reddit, I see on Twitter, defending this guy, when it's clearly been said that he doesn't put the effort in training, in practice. He doesn't do what Marco Silva does when players like Theo Walcott do, and other players actually show up on a Monday, and then Monday through Friday, they do what they're told. They look like they can be bothered. They don't walk around with a chip on their shoulder, thinking that because they had half a season in the Bundesliga, playing in that league, thinking that you're some, Neymar come lately or whatever. Sorry, buddy, you're not. It has to be Monday through Friday to play on the Saturday, not hype and words and this and that. So sorry, I'm not. It's obviously it's not time for this, but I will put it on because I ain't going to get upset. But yeah, you'll hear the wrath of the wolf probably sometime tomorrow. And again, thanks for watching. Again, thanks to Jeff Thompson. Leave your comments. Tell me how much you don't like it. Tell me how rambling it is, or you can tell me how good it is and how entertaining it is, or just say something, leave something. We're at 607 for subs. Probably got 2 in the past week, but you can't get that many subs if you don't put out that much content. So leave a like. Watch it for the first time. Please subscribe, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Thank you. Good night.